And so we became something special. And now we have Forbes magazine rated our company the most successful financial company, income-wise, than any company in the history of American business. You saw that, right? Hope you saw that. We got more $100,000 earners than $200,000 earners. You know, I talked to somebody the other day, and we have a special meeting called the Senior Leadership Meeting every January, where the top, anyone making over $250,000 and above, can come to this special meeting, and there are what, 800 people there?
800.
And I talked to somebody who topped out at 249, he wasn't invited. Can you imagine that? $249,000, he wasn't invited. Now, understand that when we promote a person to RVP, they get a $15,000 bonus, stock bonus, and so do you. I read the other day, it's a big deal. Walmart is excited because it is going to be offering its store managers. Think about that now. What it takes to manage a Walmart store. A $15,000 a year bonus. And we kept one person, and how do you get one? You recruit about 300 people, you get an RVP. You get $15,000 bonus. And so, and by the way, what kind of money do you think a store manager at Walmart makes? How much? Between $125,000 to $175,000 to be a store manager at Walmart. Think about that for a second. And you get a whole whopping $15,000. They wouldn't even be invited to our senior leadership meeting. And all the responsibility they have, and the 100 employees they have, and all the headache to make $150,000, $175,000 a year. What do you think of an owner of a McDonald's makes? About 150. And they got to borrow $1 million to make $150,000 a year per store. Yeah, they got to own 3 or 4 stores to make what James makes. And I was thinking the other day, we had a friend of ours in the neighborhood, Patrick, named Maury Lowry. Maury Lowry owned a Dalworth TV and car stereo place. He was a neighbor. And of course, Mike Tuttle and myself knew him. And one day we were at his place, he was having a little get-together, and he said, "You and Mike are the luckiest people in the world. I mean, you live in these great big houses like we do. Do you know what I got to do to make money? Here's what I got to do." You know, he said, "I've got to rent a big retail establishment on a main drag, not like here in the second floor of a building. So why? Because exposure. I got to sign a 5-year lease. I've got to hire the employees, right? I got to buy the inventory, and then I got to put advertising because people got to know we're here." And you know, just take an example. What happened? Several weeks ago, we had. I wanted to have a big push, so we bought a bunch of inventory, more than normal. And I put an ad in newspapers that cost me thousands of dollars that we're going to have this great big sale on this specific Saturday. So I had to hire other people to come in. So I got the advertising, and I got the people, and I got the inventory. And what did you do? Downfall, rain, hardly anybody showed up. But my money was out the door. And these guys just standing around that I had to pay. James, think about it. What's your advertising cost a year? We got social media, which is advertising. What do you pay for social media? Zero. You can have, it's like putting an ad in every newspaper in America at no cost. Think about how much you said. Well, you're not RVP yet, right? Oh, you know, where's some of you aren't? What's your office expenses every month? What's your advertising cost every month? What's your inventory cost every month? What about McDonald's? They got any competition? Well, right next door is a Wendy's, and right next door to that's a Chick-fil-A. Here, Patrick, you want to know your competition? He's right over here. And who's your everybody else that's not in your hierarchy is your competition. Yet we're coming together to try to help each other. Isn't that something? We have to understand what we got a hold of here. And my part of the program will be a few minutes. But I'm going to be talking about what's going to blow your butt out of the water. What's it going to take? And you know, Art Williams' biggest disappointment. Because understand, we're not holding these meetings in secret. Anybody can join Primerica, and if they got the money, they can get on our YouTube, they can get our, right? We don't care who they are. Our competition, people that want to be just like us, but not be us. They can learn from us. We don't know if you're a secret agent from another company, right? Yet no one in the last 47 years have copied us. Now, one other company, they still look at us with disdain. They still label us as one of those. Yet our stock went from $15 a share. James, I was thinking about you yesterday. You know how much money James made yesterday on the stock? $7,000 on the stock in one day. Why? Free stock, by the way. He didn't pay for it. Got $7,000 yesterday he made because the stock went up $2 a share. Ain't that? He's got, I don't know, like $3,500, 3,500 shares of stock. $2. That's how you get wealthy. And it's free stock to anybody who wants it. And you know, all you have to do is build a base shop and do what we tell you to do. But the biggest shock Art had was not that no one has copied us, we don't care about that, is that our own people are not copying Art. Ain't that something? That's why I don't have it with me. I have it over there called the Locker Room Notes. You know, it's you know, that is our Bible. And then we have this book, which we just came out with, and I'm just so proud of Patrick. And folks, you don't know the work he put in. You know, it took me months to write it and edit it with Donna, but it took him months to figure out how to present it in this book. And there are a lot of mistakes. I reread it the last few days. Not one mistake, not one, pristine. Isn't that something? So when you combine our Locker Room Notes, here's how you do it with the heart and soul of our company and how good it is and how many changed lives. You know, this, you get to a building and you see all this brick, right? And you look at, what do you see when you look at a brick building? You see the brick, right? Mm-hmm. No one looks at the mortar. No one ever admires the mortar. Isn't that great mortar? That mortar, if it weren't for that mortar, this thing would fall over, and it would.
Right.
You know what the mortar of our business is, James? The heart and soul, how we build people. You build people, basically, Art built people, and a company popped out, as Tony Alexander said in the book. And so once we understand those two elements, change lives. And so, you know, I've been to so many of these meetings, and I tell you, I woke up this morning and I go to the shower and I do my goal thing, right? Like we talk about it on the Ono program. And I recite my definite major purpose statement out loud. And I do all those things. Why? Because I want to get this. And I can't tell you how many meetings I've been to, Lamont, where I go to the meeting and I say, "Dear God, let me get this." Because some of you have guests here. Most of you don't. What does that mean? Those aren't the people that should be here. They're not here today. People say, "Don't give up on me, give up on them." Because why? No, you're looking for people who are looking for you. And if they don't have the heart to change their lives, you're wasting your time. Because we spend too much time with people that don't want out of life what we're offering. They just want to coast and get through life. But you know how many times I came to these meetings with a prayer on my lips saying, what? Dear God, let me get it. So many of you have a guest here, you're saying what? Hope they get it. Hope they get it. If David doesn't get it, that's his problem. Good luck out there, David, outside of Primerica. Just good luck. Right? I hope it works for you. It's never worked for anybody else, but maybe you're the one it'll work for. Corporate America. Good luck on that one. Good luck. Right? Because why? They don't have any mortar. They don't have a soul. You're just a number to them. Here you're a human being with the dreams and goals and aspirations. So we're going to have a fun day today because James is, you've got to be proud of James. I'm telling you. Right. He is, in our hierarchy, that I override. Because Andy Onstead is a 9th generation to me. So far down, I got to use microscope just to see him. And he make, you know, he should be buying me a cup of coffee instead of me buying him a cup of coffee. But that's what happens when you go deep enough. You find your studs. Yeah, Bill, you're not. You know, but we found it proves the system. We found studs. He'll be $1 million earner. He'll be the 4th $1 million earner in our hierarchy in the next couple of months. And James is a year and a half away from that one. Anybody on this call right now, the only thing holding you back is you. And you're not dreaming big enough. You're not aspiring big enough. And I'm going to be talking today in my part about why are we here. The answer is for you and your life and your future. Don't try to come here to learn a business. Come here to have a better life. And the business will grow. But the day you might make up your mind that your family, you deserve the best life possible, that's when it starts happening. Until then, you've succumbed to mediocrity and average and ordinary. And that's one of these things, James, I could not put down this book. I read it the last 2 days. I couldn't put it down. Why? And what I wrote, it's a story of the people, the flesh and blood people, the mortar of our company that changed their life here. I'm not talking about just the money they made, but the lives they live, and the people they've become, and the marriages they've created, and the families they've created, and the impact they've made on society. James, that's why we're here. James Watkins, I hope you have a chance sometime to get in this beautiful, beautiful home. I'm telling you, if you've never been to his house, I'll tell you what happens. And you got a beautiful home, you get impressed, right? And then you walk in that door and you expect a house. It explodes into Dungeon James. The minute you walk through that front door, you see the backyard, that beautiful pool, this incredible. I mean, isn't that right, Stephanie? You've been to it.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not surprising, but it is awesome, striking. Right? I hate to use the word awesome because it's overused. It's all striking. Why? Because he came here and he delivered on this system of for a few years, David, doing what we tell him to do. And you're next. And Mike, you're next. It's matter of time. You can't miss. This is a for sure opportunity. Why? Because the evidence is there. If you do what we tell you to do, as Art Williams says, if you do the right things long enough, you will build an empire. And we've got an empire builder right here. It's the name of an organization, and that's James Watkins. Aren't you proud of him, the folks that are on the Tenacity organization, and how the purple shirts, and James is a leader not just in our hierarchy, but the AALC. He's one of their, what do you call that? Council member. And he is a devotee of Art Williams. And that's all Get Bigger, Go Home is. Now I was reading Think and Grow Rich recently, again. And by this time I really got serious reading it. I mean, I wanted to get this stuff because I got a lot of good years left. And it says in there, you have to have a mastermind. Mastermind group. You know what Get Big or Go Home is? A mastermind group. And you know, James, if you take a look at the people you associate with, they're your mastermind. And so you got to ask yourself, am I ready to have the blessing that's been given to me? Or is this just another meeting? Just another Saturday, I'll take notes, and the rest of the day will be normal. When you say to yourself, whatever it is, I'm ready. I'm ready to do what they tell me to do. I'm ready for my life to change. I'm ready for my debt to be taken away from me. I'm ready for my wife or husband to quit their job. I want to get that hellhole called a job. I'm ready to get on the other side of what's available for me, like all these other people have done. Maury, I can understand if you're the only one. We've never done it. But now, how many people have to do it, Kevin, before you say? How many? I mean, we no longer say the first female. We got so many females making it. The first school teacher, the first now, join the club. I remember when we first started the company, our independent counsel book, which are people making over 100,000, was about that big. Now it's if you remember what a telephone book is, it's about, am I right? It's about 2 of these.
Yep. Yeah, that's it.
$100 million earners, $250,000, 800. You're not invited. Got the point? And so I'm going to give you James, and aren't you proud of him? The people are in his hierarchy, and the leader he is, and the kind of person he's becoming, and how he's respected, not just in our hierarchy, but you go to Big or Go Home, and he's a player of respect and renown. So, and then James and I will be up here, and we're going to do an Andy Young impression Saturday Night Live. Please help me welcome our next $1 million earner to be James Watkins.
Yes.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, I can roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. All my life, grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price.
I got a new one I heard this morning, but I do like that one. Creed 3, when I boy come out that thing, I said, oh, that's my walk-up music right there. So like Coach said, you know, it's just amazing the way he started it out. He talked about the company being in his 47th year, getting ready to celebrate 47th year, and the amazing beginning that they had and all the things that they've accomplished. And then he went in to say, you know, how there are no longer any firsts. You know, I love the part when he started talking about his neighbor that owned the business, see? In our business, you know, you got a business, but it ain't like every other business out there. That neighbor, he said he had to spend a bunch of money in advertising. He had to pay for an office space. He had to do this. He had to do all that kind of stuff. And then you got to go find somebody to sell to, so you go make a profit. Well, in our business, you know, man, you just got to build a team. Your expenses are minimal. I like laugh at Primerica people that think they have business expenses like you've never really been in a real business. But you know, we had a kid, my son worked for, we're in an eyeglass place, and I called him a kid because I swear he looked like he was like 21 or whatever. And I forget his name now, but I go up there and I go visit him and Andre, and I just want to talk to him down the street from the house. I was like, so you got your degree in optometry? He said, yeah, I got my degree. I said, how much was that? He tell me, and I got like $150,000 of student loans, he said, that I'm paying back. I was like, oh, okay. And then I said, well, what about this lease right here, this retail space you guys said? I just signed a 10-year lease. You know, I never signed a 10-year agreement ever. So I've been in business 26 years, right? This is the longest lease I ever signed, right? It was 5 years. I was like, my kid signed a 10-year lease. He said, how much is rent? He said, $10,000 a month. Then he got his employees and he got to order his inventory. Now, that's traditional business. In Primerica, we say $25 for your POS. Now, don't move or raise your hand, but some of y'all don't even pay that. Where'd I get my bonus? You ain't even pay your POL bill. And like, you know what I mean? Come on, man. You gotta grow up and get in the big boys to be in the big boy, big girls club to make big money. You have to understand you gotta change this right here. And so like Coach talked about our mastermind group, and of course Coach Bill and Coach Andy. I call them our great apes. It's just an honor to be, plugged in, dialed in 100% behind them and what they got going on. They get bigger, go home, and hopefully you get it, before it's too late, because it ain't gonna happen. One day you won't be able to go to get bigger, go home. We won't be telling you, hey, are you there this time? No, one day it's gonna be over. Okay, you won't have another opportunity to get that coaching from these two legends. But we were recently in a meeting, and Andy said, I sit down with hundreds of people throughout my years, one-on-one. They always ask the same question: what I got to do, how I got to get it going, what's the next step? And here's my advice to everybody: get to the VIP huddle, and I'll tell you what's next after that. Now that blew me away, because he had said a bunch all that I did all a couple of days. But I was like, that's really it. Like, guys, like y'all was trying to say, well, tell me something different. Tell me something else. Tell me what else it is. How do you get to the VIP huddle? For those that don't know, you got a double-digit recruit. Until that happens, none of the other stuff that we talk about is going to happen for you. Till that happens, until you settle that, is that until you get to the VIP huddle, I can't tell you the next step. You don't need to know what step 2 and 3 is. You got to do step 1 first. And so these first 3 people that I'm going to ask just come up and give you some words. All of them double-digit recruited last month in our organization. And we're just going to have them come up and talk to you rapid fire, just on, why they double-digit recruited, why that was important to them, and why they're on their way. So we'll start off with LaTanya Bosley. LaTanya.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I wasn't expecting them to call my name first. How are you all doing today? Good. So, double-digit recruiting is important to me because I went to a event with James last month. I think it was last month. And listening to Andy and talk about what James just said, when you want to know what's next, when you want to know what to do next, get in the room. And so that really helped me understand that if I want to take my business to the next level, I need to always be in the room. And so last month, when my month started out slow, and I was like, we have an opportunity here. I believe in the opportunity, and I want everyone else to have the opportunity, but I also have to get into the room. And so I did anything and everything, that I had to do to get in that room, because I want to know, what do I need to do next to take my business to the next level? And so I know for me that I have to be in the room where the information is being shared. And so I have to build me in order for me to take that back to my teammates as well. And so I'm sorry, I have a headache. But Coach Bill and Coach Andy and James, they always tell us double-digit recruit, double-digit recruit, double-digit recruit. You're gonna find your leaders at double-digit recruiting. And so that's where my mindset is that I have to double-digit recruit, because I want to be, or I am, a SVP. And so I need to find my next regional vice president. And the only way, that I'm gonna be able to do that is double-digit recruiting.
All right.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
The reason that we double-digit recruit is because, to be honest with you, when we first came into business, that's kind of like what we do, that you have to have 10. And then the emphasis that Coach James pushes and Coach Bill is 10 to get in. So, even though we have to start changing the way we thought about things and think about things, so we can do different things and have better things. So our whole thing is you got to get 10 to get in. Now our whole next goal is to get some more 10s. right? So fill the room with 10s.
Our ultimate goal is to get 20 by 20. We want to see 20 by 20. Well, for this month, for February, that's the only thing I think about. I wake up, I speak it, affirmation. I want to do more, but you know, we got to start where we can start. But 10 by 10, that's just the beginning. We want to go further and further. We want to stretch ourselves. And the more people we talk to, we know that we are saving more lives doing that.
Good job.
Where'd you go? Say, okay, all right. Looking for Sam. Hey, Sam. All right, there you go. This guy right here, you know, we saved him for last. He led our organization. Now he's part-time.
Wow.
So I want y'all to know, he beat a lot of y'all full-timers. And then he do this part-time, right? But he led the organization last month in recruits and premium. Give it up for the one and the only, Sam Goss.
Good morning, everyone, Zoom world. So my job today is to just kind of talk about my mindset of what I had going on through the month of January, but it actually started in December. And so with that being said, just the mindset of knowing that for me, you know, I take it personal. Why? Because you look at your numbers and your numbers don't reflect you, and so you got to get to the point. And so me and Coach, we had a sincere conversation. He, you know, pretty much just kind of thorough with me. Why? Because I tell him don't cheat. I want the best. And so with that being said, I just, you know, put it down to me and I said, hey, I got to set some reasonable goals. And so my reasonable goals was that number one, some folks already know about it, but I said I wasn't going to shave until I get 10 recruits. And so now I can officially shave, but I know it's some married women in the building, so, you know, but the thing is that, you know, I get a lot of compliments about it, so I ain't made a decision yet.
So you go.
But it feels good about the team. So but how that basically started was that I created a schedule, but I controlled my schedule as well. And so like, you know, sometimes when we're bringing recruits into the business, they don't understand what we're doing and the urgency, and they kind of sort of forget the orientation piece. We say you got 30 days, but it don't take 30 days, and so that 30 days turn into 60 days to 90 days. And so we got to take control of it ourselves and just get straight to it. And so that's what I chose to do. In addition to that, I simply eliminated words like try, might, and if. I mean, even when, you know, I'm working with recruits or prospects, you know, just letting them know, hey, you know, I'm controlling my schedule. James hear me sometimes saying, hey, I'm not the ice cream man. You just can't call me. You got to get on the schedule, all right? And in addition to that, just eliminate the poverty thinking and the participation. And so you ain't got to raise your hand, but, you know, a few of us in the room have probably been involved in some poverty thinking and participation, whether it was back in the day, et cetera. So I choose to not, you know, be in that particular lane, number one, so I can focus on my real vision, and kind of similar to where I told Coach James and Kevin and Lamont was on the call one morning, and my little girl mama called me and said, hey, want to know, can she miss school and go visit granddaddy because he's in the hospital? Before this business, I work at a school, so y'all already know my answer would have been, no, she got to go to school. But instead, I had to think like a rich man. No, she go see her granddaddy. Hey. Because really, at the end of the day, especially after James had already shared with his grandchildren, I said that makes too much sense to me. So, you know, get rid of that poverty mind thing. Now, the importance of DDR, you know, for me, I like to take it personal. Recruits lead to name inventory. That's the first thing my coach is going to answer me. How do your name inventory look? And so, as of right now, my name inventory looks great. And so I got to keep it going like that to where name inventory simply means I can book some appointments. Even if, like, if Kevin's on my team, if Kevin's not, you know, in the right headspace, I got a name inventory where I can still work a business, all right? Also, too, training. Training develops into business concept and services. And that's what we do. We get on these appointments. We basically, you know, we call it appointment, basically we're training people that didn't not know or either picking up the pieces in life, which is going to lead to some type of services or a business partner. And then the promotion piece, promotions lead to percentages and money. And so percentages, you know, you already know how that works. 35%, 50%, 60%, 70%. 110 and 110 and up. That's where everybody want to be. And so I'll say that to say is, which is gonna just keep me focused on my next steps, which is, yes, I DDR, but that's not the way. What you have to do is you have to DDR and then bring DDRs with you. And so that being said, Andrea's here. She don't like being put on spotlight, but my goal is to get her DDR. Why? Because her sister and her husband is here today, and so the pressure's there, Andrea. Me and you gonna DDR together. In addition to that, you got to copy the right cat. And so, I met James over 20 years ago, and it was a no-brainer when I, circled back with him. Man, I went back in, and then, I asked about Bill, and so I'm copying these two cats, which, Bill is just simply just transparent of saying, hey, well, come on with it, copy me. Don't copy the people that's not doing anything because you're working backwards. And then, most importantly, I have to get my securities license because that's gonna complete the whole process for me. And so for anyone in this building out there in Zoom world, unsure or not focused on what you need to do, all you gotta do is simply copy the right cats, stay focused, and try to have 0 empty days. That means every day is not gonna go well in primary. I called Coach, and Coach had a simpler day than what I had one day, to where all your appointments would be kind of just slid aside. Everybody got something going on. All right, that don't mean you can't book 10 more appointments for the next day to get ready. And so I said that to say, that's my focus. I'm gonna do it, and let's go, Andrea.
All right.
Coach, I'm ready.
You want to do, I want to do talking first. You want
Oh,
to leave
he
that
go.
there?
He want to talk first, and then we'll come on. Sorry, guys.
Like center?
Yep. All right. Well, help us welcome back Coach Bill, everybody. Give it up.
Coach Bill!
We misinterpret DDR. What's DDR? What does that mean? What's double digit or more? 99. Hear what I say? It's not 10. It's 99. So if you think 10, guess what you're going to get? 10. And again, if you want to create an RVP, go get 300 recruits in the next 12 months. You'll be an RVP. And that RVP will start having RVP. So we got Andy Onstead on our call Tuesday, on our Century Club call at 11:30 Central Time. And he's not going to be talking about social media, though he has used social media, excelled at it, and recruited over 700 people in his base last month. And he had one girl who joined, I think, August, and in October recruited 12. In November, 50. In December, 80. And last month, 120. Why? She's using a power source that most people aren't. And it's one of those things that I'm going to be really stressing right now, that James and I will get up here and really talk about it. But we have to understand why you're here and why we recruit. And Art Williams talks about it the A.O. Williams way. You notice I'm talking a lot about Art Williams? Because I don't want you following me. I want you following who I follow. And it's key to tenets that talks about wonderfully, you got to be a follower. Tell me who you're following, and I'll tell you where you're going. And we're following Art Williams. He built the biggest, baddest hierarchy in the history of our company. And it's him who created 130,000 people and 5,000 RVPs. It's him that built the most successful financial services company in history. It's him that created more financially independent people than any other company in the history of America. His system. And he outlines it in the locker room notes. And in the A.O. Williams Way book, what does he talk about? Freedom. In one page, I forget the number of the page, but it says everybody wants freedom of time and money. And most people don't realize that they can have freedom. And they aspire for freedom. But why are you here? We're here to offer you freedom. If you are not too far gone, some of you are too far gone. You've been so entrenched in a job and having somebody's thumb on you that you acquiesce and you just surrender, and you know you did it. You're going along to get along, and trying to ride out this thing called life, and to arrive safely at death. And so, Art Williams built a system for you to have freedom of time and money. And let me tell you something, Jerry, those two things outside this opportunity don't go together. I don't care who you are. You say, well, I know a guy that makes a lot of money, but he doesn't have any time. I know a guy that has a lot of time, they don't have any money. Two family incomes now, they're dickering about, hopefully that whoever the next president is, if it's the same one or the new one, hopefully they'll do something to make my life better. You know how many people are doing that? They're going through life saying, if he doesn't make my life better, it doesn't get better. And you're, what that means, you're underneath somebody's thumb. So the question is, how much money do you want to make? And when I came here, I wanted to make, back then, $100,000, like $300,000 a year today. I wanted to make $100,000 because why? That would take me to a whole new special group of people. Because anybody can make a living and pay their bills and have $20,000 in credit card debt. I was listening to a thing on the radio today, and most people go through life saying, sure, hope my kids get a college scholarship. They're not doing anything about it. They're relying on their child to have the gumption and the talent and the ability, scholarship money, right? Mm-hmm. Which means we're always hoping someone else will do something to make our life easier and better. And realize that you aren't free. You aren't free until you're financially free. And Art Williams says, you're either financially independent or you're not. There's no in between. Until you have as long as somebody's got their thumb on you, you'll never be free. Never. And you know how many people truly are relying upon, I hope that somebody in the government does something? I hope my wife can get a better job. Hope my son can get a good college scholarship. I hope the government pays off my student loans. Because all the people who have student loans, they're not here today. They're still at home thinking, the government will pay off my student loans, so I don't have to put out. I don't have to work Saturdays. I don't have to work nights. I don't have to. And you're not making a person better by paying off their debt. But they think they are, right? They get their votes. Frankly, I would vote for somebody to pay off my $300,000 or $400,000 student loans. And that's you're selling your soul to someone to pay off your debt. You don't care about what happens to the country. But the question is, are you living that abundant life that you're supposed to live? You know, when I get in an airplane, first thing I know, he tells me we're going to be cruising at 33,000 feet, 35,000 feet. He never says we're going to be cruising at 10,000 feet. Why? Because at 10,000, all the air draft, wind shears, all the storms, everything else, that's where the clouds are. You ever go through a cloud, you bumpy around to get through the clouds, because it's all the difference in temperature. Well, what freedom is, you live a life above at 35,000 feet, like James and I are living. You know, if interest rates go up, I don't know what we don't care if interest rates go up. You know the price of milk? You know the thing we show every Tuesday night, that one woman in a car talking about how terrible it is? James and I are sitting there thinking, look at it, you know, I don't have a mortgage, but if I did have a mortgage, I'm going to pay it at the end of the month because I don't have enough money coming in, and I have to buy more groceries, and you know what the price of milk is? Aren't you worried about all that crap? What's a gallon of milk cost, do you know? James? Here's the point I'm making. If you know the prices, you're not financially independent. You got to live your life that I want that. I'm going to pay for it. How much it cost? I don't know. I just want that. So we want to get you to a 35,000 foot abundant life. All you can do is reject it. All you can do is leave me alone. Heck no. Get off my back. I'm in this rut and I don't want to get out. When the people are not here today, don't want to get out. We got what? Leave them behind. I'm telling you folks, there's people that you tried to get here today, they don't show up, don't call them anymore. Or call them one more time so I need referrals. I'll get you there. Just give me 4 or 5 names. And that's all you can do. But we have to start eliminating people that want to be eliminated. You're here, we want looking for people looking for us. Unless you're desperately looking for us, unless you're on a warpath to get free, you can't spend any time with people that are broke and that want to be broke and are happy being broke and are succumbing to being broke. You know, how are we to do this? What's our plan of action? Very simple. We want, as J. Paul Getty said, I want 100. I'd rather have my income coming from 100 people instead of 1%, 100% coming off of me. See, that's got to be what you're looking for. I'm looking for 100 people. Get that something? Lamont, so I can have my income coming off 100 people, Lamont. You got to get rid of, I want 100% of my income coming off of me. This is our method. You've got to be living your life. I don't want any of my income coming off of me. I don't care, even if I can make $50,000 on one sale. I don't want that $50,000 coming off of me. I'd rather have $5,000 each coming off of 10 people. See the difference there? I'd rather have 500 coming off 100 people. See the difference there? It's a mindset as to how you want your income coming in. And what does that mean? One of my favorite videos is the pipeline video. How many people watch that pipeline video? You know what the pipeline video is? I've forgotten their names.
Pablo and Bruno.
Pablo and Bruno. I forgot what. Bruno is the big, strong guy, right? And he's willing to carry buckets of water and make money on buckets of water. Pablo says, you know, I can't do that for the rest of my life. My shoulders will hurt. My hips will hurt. My back will hurt. I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I want to build a pipeline so that income comes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I just told you, James made $7,000 that no taxes came out of, no Social Security came out of, no living expenses are coming out of yesterday. Ain't that something?
Yes.
Now we can afford a ticket to the
A ticket.
See, the point I'm making is, David, you gotta want that. You say, I don't want to live. You know, I was talking to Keenan yesterday. He says, we got our system, we got the world system. We think, well, that's spiritual. I'm talking about here. Our system is 1% off 100. The world system is 100% off you, work hard, work really, 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 really hard, get another degree, take out student loans, suck it up. Folks, when 72% of the population dread going to work Monday morning, what's your chances? And they're entrenched in it. They can't get out of it. We're offering you an abundant life, the abundant life that Jeremiah 29:11 says you're supposed to have. Are you working that plan? Whose plan are you working? I have a plan for you. Is that the plan be in debt? Have $30,000 in credit card debt? Want your kids to get student loans? Hoping your kids, praying that your kids will do what you're not willing to do so they can get a student loan so you don't have to go out there and work. So you don't have to work Saturday. You want them working Saturdays. You want them studying like crazy. You want them running wind sprints in the summertime in Dallas, Texas. You're not willing to do it. And it's something. And they're kidding, my child's going to save me. That's the 35,000-foot life. Again, all the little things that, you know, they talk about how in the West Coast they had these big, great big redwoods that withstood hurricane winds and all kinds of problems with storms. They lasted for hundreds and hundreds of years. But you know what killed them? Little bugs. that got on the inside, ate them away. That's what's eating you up. These little things that bother you, the nickels and dimes and the arguments you had with your wife because she spent too much money. Because you're mad at your kids because they need new shoes. You're mad at your wife because she wants nicer clothes. You're mad at me because I'm rich and I won't give you any. And that's right. But talk about your dad's rich. So I'll vote for him, and he'll give me some money from the rich. Think about the psychology of let's tax the rich. Let's get them. Let's take it to folks. If the rich had 100% of their income go to taxes, we'd still be $1 trillion a year in debt every year. So, it's thinking, right? I heard one the other day. If these companies, CEOs would take less pay, we can give everybody in America an hourly wage increase. As if everybody that works for a company works for just big companies. You know, 75% of all Americans work for companies of less than 100 employees. That the owner is barely making it. But the point is, do you want a pipeline of RVPs, 110% contract people, where you have money coming in whether or not you work? How bad do you want that? So a double digit, and I love what Sam started saying is, it's a reflection on your thinking. Like I said to a guy one time, I'll paraphrase what I said, but how many recruits you get last month? He said, well, 3. I said, I know what your dreams are. I know what your hopes are. I know where you want to be in a year. I know where you want to be in 5 years. I know what you want to provide for your family. I know where you want to go on vacation. I know where you want to live. I know whether or not you want your wife to keep working. I know whether or not you want your children to take out student loans. I know whether or not you want to be able to afford to take care of your parents when they get older. I know everything I need to know about you. Well, how do you know that? You recruited 3 people. Wow. It's a total reflection on your dreams, your goals, and what you want out of life. Because we know this, and folks, you gotta believe this. Everything you want, hope for, is the other side of 10. Once you get to 10, the multiples can start kicking in. I don't know why they don't until you get to 10, but they do when you get to 10. And the other thing is, this system, and I've got a goal of 1,000 people making $1 million a year or more. 3 of which make $10 million a year or more. 25 that are making at least $5 million a year. I want 100 people making $3 million a year or more. Why? It's inevitable. It's the math. How many people would love to say, Bill, just tell me what to do to make $1 million a year? Just tell me what to do. When you get 1,000 recruits a month coming in, and which creates 1,000 life apps a month through first generation, you're making $1 million a year or more. Willie Naranjo is not an aberration. He's what Art Williams created this for. He just did the right things long enough. You're going to start seeing $5 million coming out of your ears. $5 million. At no expenses. At no advertising cost. At no legal team. No big buildings to take care of. No big, the crash is coming. Whew, look out, Willie. Well, you know what I mean? I've got my sales force intact. I got all these RVPs. I mean, Willie probably makes, I don't know, $500,000 a year on renewals. Probably gets another $500,000 a year on stock, right? That we don't talk about. Free stock, which James did didn't you hear it on Century Club? Marvelous job of explaining. Now, why do you want to do all that? It will all bring financial independence to orphans and widows. You do all that because you bring financial independence to orphans and widows and the elderly, retirees in their distress. Why? James 1:27. A good and truthful person is one who what? Takes care of the orphans and widows in their distress. We're doing that. Now, what is the secret sauce to all this? And I talked to Andy Onstead the other day, and he's going to talk not about social media on Tuesday. He's going to maybe touch on it. It's the power of the multiples. Art Williams said, 2 things blew my butt out of the water. The rule of 72, which is the multiples, how $10 becomes 2.6 billion, and how 3 people can turn into thousands. In that book, Locker Room Notes, the point I want to make is what's blowing your butt out of the water? At some point in time, you've got to say, you're not good enough. Because most people say, you can't ever say you're not good enough. I'm here to tell you right now, you're not good enough. And I'm not making any jokes about it. You aren't. I'm telling you, you can't. You say, well, Bill, that's not the thing I want to hear. I'm telling you, you can't. Just like you can't make in the NFL. Just like I can't look like George Clooney. Oh, people have told me I do. He has eyes, I have eyes. Well, Bill, if I can't, what am I doing here? Because we've got something that no one else has got. The power of the multiples. You're not good enough. It's good enough. You know, again, I use the example of mutual funds because Art said 2 things. People don't want a mutual fund. If you sit down and say, well, mutual funds are the greatest thing since sliced bread, if Adam Mitty had bought a mutual fund, none of us would have to work. You see, yeah, they're great. But you have diversification and professional management. But what makes mutual funds so great? You can get 10-12%. No other place on this planet can you get 10-12%. It's not the mutual funds they want. What do they want? They want the rate of return. My money can compound. My money begets money, begets money, begets money, begets money. That's the special elixir of mutual funds. And so the point is, what's so special about the opportunity? Art Williams says it in the Locker Room Notes. People must believe. They only need 3 people. If you do the right things with those people.
That's right.
That's the key thing. Now, you know, we had at Get Bigger, Go Home, Patrick, we had Olivier, did a marvelous job, and you've seen this, Sam. You know, you 3 people, go get 3 people, right? And then you 9, go get 3 people, right? You'll get 9. I said, Olivia, that's got to be that's got to be adjusted. Why? Because that's not how it works. Because they won't go get 3 people. That's the concept of 3 go get 3 go get 3. You know what the concept is? Who are your 3 friends you want me to go talk to about this business? Here they are. I'm going to go talk to them, right? Now, would you like to make $4,000 a month in 6 months coming in without having to work? Would you like to? Now, who are the 3 people I can talk to for you? Oh, these 3 people, I'll go talk to them. And who can I talk to you? I'm going to go talk to them, right? Now, you 9 people, would you like to make $4,000 a month 6 months from now without having to work? Oh, yeah. Because I'm going to go get you 100 people. Now, who are the 3 people I can talk to you, to talk to for you? Right? And I'm the one doing it. I'm the one. Art Williams, page 7, the Locker Room Note says what? I'll get you 100 people. I will get you 100 people. So Andy Onstead has got, well, he kept going deep, 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 deep until what? He found 4 studs. Art Williams says what? You keep going deep until you find a stud. Remember we talked about how do I create this RVP, factory RVP pipeline, right? 40. I'm telling you, I keep a list of everyone who tells me their success story, and it's always I found my stud at 4D. So my job's what? Take you 4D. And I'm starting to get a stud, right? David, where else on this planet can you have the assurance of financial independence? And I just gave you a plan to do it. And I'll do it. So what do? My job's to get you 3, and I'll talk to your 3 friends, and I'll get them 9. Now, it doesn't work that way. But didn't everyone see Liddell Walden's plan? Did you see him at the Get Bigger, Go Home? He showed one person and brought him RVPs and sales and a couple $100,000 in income from one person. See, that's what we got to be revering. That's what we should put on stage versus look at Bill Orender, how great he is. I ain't great. I got the power of the multiples working for me. I was just smart enough to use them. See the point? Are you using the power of 3? Are you using the multiples? Are you in awe of the multiples? Tell me what's so great about Primerica. We got the multiples here. Tell me what's so great about mutual funds. It's a place to get 10 to 12%. I don't care who you are. Would you like to get 20% on your money this year? How about 100%? How about 300%, 500% this year? We'd be thrown in jail if we ever said that to people. You know something? I can take you and get you 3. And I can take those 3, make them 9. I can get those 9, make them 27. I can get those 27, get you 81. That's 100 people from 1. Ain't that something? That's like tens of thousands of a percent. And you're making $4,000 a month. Let's say $2,000 a month. If 20% of those people at the 100 do anything every month, that's what? $2,000 to $4,000 a month in income. And at $2,000 a month coming, it's like having $100,000 in investments getting 20%. From people, not money. The greatest thing that Primerica has to offer is the power of compounding. See, if you ask most people, what do they understand about compound interest, James? I don't know. They heard of it. We got it. Einstein said it's the 9th wonder of the world. We're going, yeah, nice. Where can I find it? Oh, Primerica. Are you using it? Not really. It's like sticking your money in underneath your mattress. You're not letting it compound. Bringing a person in and getting them a license, they're not compounding. Getting a person a license does nothing for their future other than they may go to work. But if you get them people, they'll never leave you. And if they do leave you, you've got their people. And you got to go take people 4D. Think about the assurances I'm giving you, the promises I'm giving you, the reality. It's been done. Here's how they've done it. Now it's your turn. Your turn to sit back and do something. And now, what's the mortar in all this? The mortar in all this is down deep. If you read the new book that come out, and I'm not promoting the book. I'm just saying that, man, you got to read the thing to understand how lives change here, and how. And I believe this. In America today, this country is so messed up. We all agree. Well, how do you change it? Try electing another, but it ain't gonna happen. Politics is messy. But what changes people is when they're in the right environment, this cocoon. Folks, when you're here, it's like taking a caterpillar that wasn't born to be a caterpillar. Understand that. Caterpillar wasn't created by God to be a caterpillar. It was just the beginning stages. It was supposed to be a butterfly. That's right. And all it can do is decide not to get into cocoon. But the problem is, if you have a child and he's 21, 22 years old, and your wishes for that child are financial independence, so no one's got their thumb on them. Having security so that they never get fired from a job and be told they're not good enough or have to load them up with student loans. I don't want that for my children. I want them to go someplace where they can win in all areas of their life. I want them to have better marriage. I want them to have the best marriage possible. I want them to go someplace where God is talked about and they're encouraged to grow spiritually. I want them someplace where they go to have mentors. where these mentors help them instead of tormentors. I want them to go someplace where they're nourished, where they get encouraged, where they get recognized, how special they are. This country is lacking encouragement. We tell people you're not good enough, that's why you need the government. You can't make it on your own, the government's got to help you. You see that? Where would you send them? Where would you send your 21-year-old child? What company? How about American Airlines? Is that the place? When 72% of everyone in American Airlines hate their job. How about being a school teacher? How about being a nurse? How about being a lawyer? Where 40% of all lawyers leave at 10 years. How about a doctor? Where 40% of all doctors don't want to be doctors after 10 years. Where would you work for the government where they're bored to tears? Where would you send them to win in all areas of their life? There's only one place, right here. This is it. Where else can you get everything that creates the whole person for the glory of God, like we like to talk about? This cocoon. So when you want to recruit people, we're not getting them into a thing. We're not getting them into a business. That's the caterpillar stage, right? But once you get in here, why is it so hard? It's not hard. You're soft. You're not disciplined. You're not tough enough. You have small dreams. You got too much doubt, which means you've not been mentored enough. You've not been worked on. You've not been helped, right? But we're gonna take you. Like I was watching a movie the other day called Pacific, right? I've watched it numerous times about World War II and Pacific Ocean, a Pacific War with the Marines. He said they take these raw recruits, Patrick, who are undisciplined. They have no strength. They're scared. They don't know how to fight. They don't know how to. But what do? They get them into boot camp. Then they get them into AIT, Advanced Infantry Training, right? And they mold them into the men, and these case men and women they're supposed to be, so they can battle, become that butterfly. That's what's happening to you right now. That's why it's so frustrating.
It's good.
Because what? You're not ready yet. Now, one of my films I love the most is one called The Underdog, American Underdog, about Kurt Warner. And now he went to the Green Bay Packers and he got cut. And then he went and he wasn't good enough. You know what he said at the end of the movie? I wasn't ready. I thought I was ready. I wasn't ready. You're not ready. Unless you're double digiting, you're not ready. You're fighting the metamorphosis that has to happen in that cocoon. And the butterfly, like James, is coming out the other end, this spectacular butterfly. You know our business is, the butterfly is, I believe it's $1 million year income. That's what you're meant to accomplish. Why? The numbers in a math said if you're willing to put the people in, like if I were to start a mutual fund today, now I don't like labels, so I'll say it only because I don't like to use the word stupid, moron, idiot, jerk, and all that. You're never going to hear me say that about people because it's labels and it's not fair. But if I would start something called a moron fund, even a moron like Bill Orender can put money in there and get wealthy.
That's it.
You know nothing about money. You put money in, guess what your job is? Give you the money, and I'll take care of it. Just give me the money. What are you going to give me, $1? And if I know, if this thing's going to turn 10, 12%, I'm going to give you tens of thousands of dollars. I'm going to burn the midnight oil, work nights and weekends to give you all the money I can. Your job is to give this system all the people you can, David. Keep putting in people, putting in people, putting in people, letting the power of the multiples take over. And watch what happens. That's what all our successful people do. None of us can pat ourselves on the back and look how great I am. We're not. If we're not for the multiples, I wouldn't be here today. We're not for the multiples, I wouldn't have any RVPs. Because I'm not that good, but it's good. The system is good. The question is, do you revere the system? Do you revere the power of the multiples? And if you're not putting people in, you know what that means? I don't get it. I don't get it. Because why? You don't see it. You hear it, but you don't see it. And then when you see it, what happens? You go, holy moly. Transformation occurs. I love what Bob Gephardt says. Our job is not to present. Our job is to what? Give them a transfusion. You need a multiples transfusion. The only thing you're lacking, Aurelio, am I right, James? The only thing he's lacking is a reverence and a respect for the power of the multiples. Am I right?
You're right.
Nothing else. The only thing you're lacking is a power and respect for and reverence for the multiples. How do you know in mutual fund? How do you know you get mutual fund? You keep putting money in. I need more money. I need more money. I'm going to work nights. I'm going to work weekends. I'm putting more money in. Why? Because look, I get wealthy. In the next 10, 20 years, I can get my return on my money, right? When you have a reverence and an understanding of the multiples, you keep putting people in. Put people. Why do we talk about the number? How many did you recruit last month? Because we know the multiplication. We also understand that what? It's an indication of your dipstick whether or not you get the multiples. Primerica is a multiples company. Our company, right, James? There's many Primericas. The Primerica that I'm in is a multiples Primerica. The one that James is in is multiples Primerica. We call it distribution, right? I know this. RVP factory. You see all that stuff. Guess what? I don't know about a factory. All I know is I'm putting the raw materials into the factory and let the factory do whatever it needs to do with it. Recruit them all, let God sort them out. So James and I are not going to get up. I'm going to get up here now and talk to each other and like we do on the phone, right, James? And we copied this from Get Bigger at Home on Saturday night, where Andy gets 4 or 5 people up there and we just talk. He asks questions. So if I could have you and Kevin move this, and I'm going to get my drink, and we're going to wow you.
All right. Give it up for Coach Bill.
Yeah.
Well, James, hey, I'm going to start out and then you comment on it.
Talk fast. The camera. That's the mic for Zoom. That's the mic for Zoom. The camera.
Right. James, I'm going to have you comment on when did you first get the power of the multiples and sell out to, I'm just going to keep putting people in. Again, double-digit recruiting is almost too casual. Did you double-digit? Yet people are double-digiting and they still don't get the power of the multiples. You know, I had a guy who's a RVP. He said, Bill, you're going to be very happy. I said, why? I said, I'm starting to recruit. I said, oh boy. He said, why? I said, I'm concerned, what are you going to do with them? And guess what he did with them? Train them. And a year later, he said, I recruited all these people. I trained all these people. None of them are doing anything. Because what did he expect? Well, they'll do something. I trained them. I loved on them. I built a relationship with them. I said, the best way to build a relationship with James is I'm going to take him 100 deep. He'll love me. He'll name his firstborn after me. The point is, see the power of the multiples and what's happened since.
Well, it was a couple occasions because you get exposed to it, you hear the language, and you think that you get it. But the first time for me was when I made friendship with Brett Burks.
Andrea Burks.
That organization. I'm Brett and Andrea Burks. You know, I always talk about this, but I had a friend of mine, him and I was sitting in the Chick-fil-A one day, and he run about a $5,000 base shop. I run about a $5,000 base shop, and he just immediately went into, you know, man, I'm tired of doing all this for people, and people quit, and they do this, and they do that. After about 20 minutes of him complaining, I joined in. I was like, yeah, man, these people doing this stuff, man, this stuff sucks. Can't stand people, man, this business doesn't work, because these people, it's the people. And we were leaving, and as I was walking out the door, him behind me, I put my hand on the door, and for the first time in my career, I thought, why am I even doing this business?
Wow.
And that's when I caught my thought right there and said, wait a minute, I ain't never thought like that before. And I was like, okay, I can't hang around anybody. At that time, our compensation was based on 30,000. So I can't hang around anybody that's doing less than 30,000, because people that's doing 30,000 don't talk or think like what we just had a conversation doing. I don't remember how it came about, but somehow I got Brett's number, and I called him up, and Brett and I had a conversation on the phone, and I'll never forget. I said, man, Brett, here's what I need to understand. I said, how in the heck are you getting 100 recruits a month in your base shop? He was number one in the company at that time. I'm like, what books are you reading? Like, you know, what are you listening to, audio, so I can read that book, right? And then figure out how to get it. And he said, James, I'm reading the same books that you read. Think and Grow Rich, Success Not an Accident, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He said, the difference between me and you is when you get a new recruit, you go get 3 F&As or 3 life sales. I go get them 3 new people. And from there, we forged a relationship that still exists today. That's how, I mean, you know, I still got a relationship with Andrea and the Burks and the Strength and Honor organization and all those things like that. But that was the beginning of the metamorphosis. That was just the beginning because I heard it, but I didn't hear it, right? You kind of hear it, and I went down there, took some people, started going to Florida about every 3 months, you know, building that relationship so I can get it. But man, I really got it. I really made sense. It really made sense when Francis Avery came and did a boot camp for you in 2014, a builder's boot camp. And we listened to Francis, I don't know, like a day and a half. And I said, oh man, that's exactly what Brad is saying. That's exactly what Coach is saying. Whatever right there. So I got it, man. Like I got this thing. Like I'm in the people business. I'm in the talent scouting business. Mm-hmm. And I do financial services part-time. See, most people in the financial services business, you know, that's why you don't get it, because you go make a couple of dollars and you think, oh, I got it. I mean, I made $5,000. The company gave me the ring, all that kind of stuff, and you think you're in the right business. You're not. You're right? But you're not in the people business. And the business that Bill and Coach Andy are in, and it's the thing I loved about Get Big or Go Home. The first time I ever got exposed to it was, it's all about people here. It's all about people. Like everything is about, Sam touched on it. He said, man, I had to get the DDR. And now it's a point to how many DDR legs can I create? My job is to get people. And another thing that you would say, Coach, all the time, you'd say, if I got a new recruit, I tell that guy, you know, I'm going to have you X amount of people in the next week or I'm going to buy you a steak dinner. You know, most guys, you hear Coach say that and you're like, yeah, that's nice. And then you get a new recruit, you're like, man, we got to get you licensed. You got to go to the licensing class. Oh, yeah. You don't even get the list. You just get the IBA and you celebrate. Like, oh, yeah, like, ooh, I did it. I got an IBA. It was like, you understand that's just the beginning of the process. Did you get the name so that you can get them 3 more people? But to answer your question, it was those moments. So gradually over the years is where it came for me.
You know, for me, James, it was a heartfelt surrendering to I can't change people. No matter what I do, you would get depressed when we put time, effort, and energy into people thinking they will respond. And then when they don't, we get frustrated. And the best thing you can do for somebody is, I recruit 2 people. One, I get them 100 people. One, I help you get a license. Which is better for that person? Again, our business, Art Williams says it should look like you're thrown against the wall, some sick, some don't. And people all have an aversion to that. Yet everything in life is like that. The NFL, NBA, 6th-round draft pick, Brock Purdy, the last one chosen. Do you think they thought he would make it? No, you're just another guy they recruited, right? The difference is, we want everyone to make it. We're not just throwing it and then we don't care about people. we put stickum on them. We put stickum on them because we want them to stick. But the only thing I can do to cause them to stick is build something, create something underneath them, where we have something called FOMO, fear of missing out, that they at least think, whoo, I'm not sure this is for me. Oh, wait, I got 5 people. You know what, I might come to that meeting Saturday. I might have a better chance to make it. Well, you know, I might want to go get my license because now I'm open. You see the difference there? And the further deep I go, the more stickum is on that guy or gal, right? It's the way you understand that. And the biggest thing is, everything we think we're doing to help people is not helping them. Build a relationship with them. Take them out to dinner. Get to know them. Get to know their families. Right, blah, 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 right? I've done all that. I've had people in my home. I've had them sleep in my home. Blah, 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 right? I've given them money on occasion, maybe in the past. The only thing I do is get them people. If you care about people, get them people. And that's all you can do for people. And the more people you get them, the more stickum there is. You know, we've got these, with my sister-in-law's house in Florida, and on their shower, they've got this bar, you know, to help you get in and out. And it's just suction cups. I mean, it's powerful. And you can't pull it off unless you release it. That's what we're doing. The more people we get them, the tighter those suction cups are to get them to stick. Now, we know if they're people, that's not their cup of tea. You know, I'd rather have Diet Coke than Diet Pepsi. Well, I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. And I don't drink alcohol. Why? It's not my cup of tea. The point is, this might not be their cup of tea, but they're going to have to think twice about it. Because I get them, the more deeper I go, the more people I get them. Understand, that's our business. That's the business James and I have chosen to be in. Now, if you want to be in financial services and you recruit people to train them to be in financial services, the ratios are terrible. Even financial advisors are an example. 18% of all financial advisors, trained, licensed people, quit the industry every year. Because it's not advising, it's getting clients. And they don't want to do that. That's not what they want to do with their life. Like Art Williams says in A.L. Williams' way. A.L. Williams' way. Nobody wants to sell, but everybody wants to override. So if you think I'm going to train them how to sell, you might find 1 or 2 or 3, right? But not all of them want to do that. Only, here's the math. 95% of people don't want to be in sales. And of that 5% that want to be in sales, only 8% want to be in financial services. Why? Because it's an intangible. They'd rather sell a car or clothes or shoes or a cell phone because it's tangible. Look at how pretty this is. Take it out for a drive, right? It's all tangible. We sell what? Promises. Our products are intangible. And so they don't want to do that. But everybody wants to override. Everybody wants freedom of time and money. Nobody's thumb on them. That's what we can bring to them. So James, talk about that for a second and how this is the noble thing we do, and it's the best thing we can do for people is to build them a hierarchy underneath them. Talk about that.
Absolutely. I mean, you got a lot of businesses out there. Premier isn't the only game in town. I mean, you just got, it's not the only way to make money. We all know that. But I was thinking about this the other day. You got a lot of businesses, and you can go out there and you can offer people an opportunity and you can recruit. But a lot of those, you can't make money. You understand? Unless you got thousands upon thousands of people of those things that you don't want to be called a part of, like multi-level marketing, network marketing. Those companies, you got people make money in those companies. Not very many, but you got people, you go over thousands, you know, and you can make some money doing that. In our business, I thought about this. We can recruit. We get to recruit like, yes, I could go build my own company within a company, right? and you can make money. It's not either or. Like you get to do that. You get to offer somebody an opportunity. Like for me, my brother-in-law recruited me. He talked to me for 2 years, right? And I finally said yes, right? I was a 23, 24-year-old kid making $25,000 a year, right? And this month they paid me $40,000. He said I made $7,000 yesterday. I hadn't even looked at that. I hadn't even looked at that, you know. So that's just 47, and that ain't even including my mutual fund portfolio that appreciated yesterday. Because I did notice that because I was on there this morning. So let's say I made 50 grand, right? This month. Well, where do you take a kid like me that, right, that, you know, didn't grow up, you know, knowing anything about business or anything like that, just had a strong will, strong work ethic, and desire to be somebody and offer them an opportunity. That's nobility. That's noble that my brother-in-law could be able to bring me. That's why he, you know, after the game was over, we going to Vegas, right? He's like, nah, I don't think I'm going. He's like, we going to Vegas, right? He's like, I said, I might. Then he said, okay, can you pay for my plane ticket? And I'm like, that's my recruiter. You know, that's my recruiter. For the Super Bowl. Because I'm always grateful for the fact that he offered me the opportunity. And since I've been here, nobody else has come to me and offered me an opportunity to change my life doing nothing else. They ain't beating on my door saying, hey, you know, we got this great opportunity for you, James. You can come here, you can do that. But then not only can we offer people an opportunity that's for real, that you can own and pass on for generations and generations to come, but what we do, I had a client, my 32nd death claim that I've paid, just came through about 2 weeks ago. And this sweet lady I met a year and a half ago out in Midland, Texas. I went out there working with another trainee from here to go see her family, and she set up all her employees plus her, got her taken care of, and we had plans. We spoke right before Christmas to get together. She said, James, I got a bunch of other employees. I need you to come out here and talk to my people. Let's talk at the first of the year. And I promise you, I was getting ready to call her the day I got a text message saying she died. She was on my list to call that day. And so we get ready to deliver, you know, a few $100,000 to her husband, her widow, and took care of them. So you got a great opportunity, and then what we do for the client is noble. It's an unbelievable opportunity. I helped a family retire. You know, as I said, that's my part-time job, you know. You can let the home office know I got a part-time job. That's my part-time job. They called me up and said, James, we don't know what to do. Man, we owe. Here's $600,000 of our money, right? $600,000 of our money. Show us how to retire. So that finances my business while I am a talent scout looking for my next district leader, my next RVP. I'm out there looking for that person. Well, as you was talking, Coach, I realized, well, we have a lot of times is what my friend Olivier calls a subliminal arrogance. You think, if I recruit this person, I'm going to make them successful. Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to make them unsuccessful. If they come with me, like the people that don't recruit, you think they won't join me or whatever, you know, because it's me, it's your ego, you know, you're making it all about you instead of about them. If you recruit them and you say, well, I'm going to train them here, I'm going to teach them this, I'm going to teach them that. It ain't you. You're looking for people that have a desire. That's right. And a hunger to change your life. And all you do is introduce them to the system. Right. I promise you, my brother-in-law, after he introduced me to the guy that recruited me, we ain't never had a conversation. He never taught me anything else. He didn't have to. In fact, he wasn't coming to the meetings. I went in spite of him. Mm-hmm. He quit pretty quick after I got started. Right? The guy that I started with, the guy I started with in Indiana, he didn't have to tell me, James, be here, James, be there. He just had to show me this is a for real opportunity. You can change your life. Get out of my way. Let me go do what I gotta go do, and then I'll go make it happen. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for people with that kind of desire. Get yourself out the way thinking it's about you. Well, I'm gonna teach all my people about this. Just introduce them to the system. Give people forum. Tell them to show up to everything so that they can catch it. Not that you know it all.
Oh, you're right, James, and again, the mortar that keeps all this brick together, everybody has a deep sense. And Art Williams, if you read the book, every one of us have been touched by Art Williams' talks. And I don't know why he touches those nerves in our souls. But when he said everybody wants to be somebody, you know, I don't know what that means. You know, we give a description of somebody, when my family looks at me and are happy to have my blood, when I can do something for my parents and I feel good about it, or where I'm able to speak in front of a crowd or something. But I don't know what that means. All I know is where God put in us something where we're supposed to achieve. The abundant life doesn't come from sitting and doing nothing. And we're supposed to have, and we seek, all of us seek honor, respect, dignity. We all desire a purpose. And that's, and Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant said this, if you're unhappy in your job, that means you're not living your purpose. And just because we choose a profession and we go into it, that's a round peg and we're a square, that's a round peg and we're a square hole, right? And that means if that's not where you're supposed to be, and to have something that will cause us to have some purpose in our life. Most people lack purpose, and that's why they drink, and that's why they want to get in all these drugs, and that's why. They're looking for love in all the wrong places. They're looking to have their heart, they want to belong to something. Like we all want to belong to something. And we're inviting people into that cocoon. And we got to understand that when we're bringing them here, we're not getting a recruit. Got me one. We're not getting another body. We're not just thrown against the wall. We're changing lives. When I heard that, Andy, I talked to him and he had 600 recruits in. I said, Andy, that 600 changed lives. I don't see those people as a recruit. I see them as a rescue. And when we rescue, you've all been rescued. Now, how many of you want to go back to where you came from? So I don't want to be rescued anymore. I want to go back from what I was rescued from. You want to go back? No. What? No. I don't see anything out there, and I honestly believe this, that is appealing for anybody I love. I'm telling you, and I got people I love, they got jobs. I'm telling you, there's cracks. There's cracks in the facade. It's the way, I got bills to pay, I got kids, I got responsibilities, I owe so off to work I go. And everyone is seeking purpose and meaning and having your life count and having respect. See, that's the mortar that keeps us all going, because we know we got a cocoon for them. And I remember telling somebody one time, your son needs to be in primary. Oh, no, he needs a job. I know he's all screwed up right now, and he's got his life together, blah, blah. I said, no, he needs to be in primary. No, he doesn't need a job, you see. No, they need to come here, even if it's for a month or two. I believe that everyone in this country had to come into our business for 6 months. We changed this country. They learn, they get mentored, they come to a Sunday morning worship. They would read books that men, 85% of all men never read a book. And because what? Because, they'd rather watch a movie. The point I'm making is we bring more to the table than we think. We think we're just a thing. And when you realize we're changing the world by changing people one person at a time. But the thing I love about this vineyard, I call it a vineyard. God gave me this vineyard with no vines. Here's your vineyard, Bill. Lord, thank you, but there's no vines. Oh no, of course there's no vines. You're gonna have to plant them. But I thought you gave me a vineyard. I gave you the land. And so what do I gotta do? I gotta plant the first one. And what do? I take the buds of the first one, and I take those buds, and I plant them. And I take those 3, and I turn them into 9 buds, right? And and all of a sudden I've got this vineyard. God doesn't want us to have our own apple tree. He wants us to have an orchard that we can feed more and more and more people. So James, I talked about the reverence and respect and appreciation for the power of the multiples, and you only have that when you start employing those and excited for that person. I'll tell you why you should join. We got the multiples here, and you're going to get turned off. People, oh, it's one of those, and most of us recoil when we hear that, and we stop respecting the multiples. I'm telling you, you got to get thick skin. You got to have mental toughness, as we've talked about. It's like saying to me, you got ugly kids. Whoa. No. You don't say that about my kids, right? You don't say that about it's one of those. Excuse me? I don't say that about my company and our system, right? It's like saying, mutual funds are just one of those things. Why don't you put your money in the bank? The banks are getting 1-2%. We say, you're not very smart, are you? You're telling me 1% off, 100% off one is better than 1% off 100. See that different? James, talk about that and how when we get it, when we finally get the power, we want to introduce it to other people. We don't recruit them into Primerica. We recruit them into what? The power of the multiple system. And if they don't get it, wonderful, good luck to you. James, talk about that and how, again, I don't want Latonia's people to get it. I want Latonia to get it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing there is, like you just said, like you gotta get it. Like you gotta, that's why you gotta be at everything. That's why you gotta hang around a Bill Orender, you gotta hang around a Andy Young, with a lot of humility. And I think that's where most people really struggle. Like, I really don't struggle with that. My teammates probably think different. But I have no problem, forever, any problem at all learning from Bill, learning from Andy. It's like Andrea and I, we were together probably a couple years ago. She came to Dallas and she did a meeting for a group here and we were going to lunch. And she said this to me and I never forgot it. She said, James, we got to take advantage of learning from these legends because it's going to be our turn next to run and keep the message going. And I was like, you know what? That's true. That's true. That's why I have a reverence for Get Bigger, Go Home so much. With Orender, what we just did out in Madison, Georgia with Orender and different things like that, because it's the only place in this whole entire company where we still tied into the vein, the original message. So I get to see the business from their perspective, who's been from day one, Andy's 45-year perspective. Like, who am I? Like, it ain't, if it's got all to be about you won't make it here. I'm just telling you, my secret is I just do whatever the rich man say do. That's my secret. That's my secret. Called me up, said, hey, James, I heard this is going to be an IPO. So I don't know what you got. I'm not telling you what to do, which means I'm telling you what to do. That's all the legal stuff he wanted to get around right here. So I couldn't come back and say, well, Coach said this. No. But I'm not telling you what to do. And I was like, that mean do it. If I was you, I'd do this. And I said, man, I'm buying all that. I'm buying it. Like, I don't understand all that stuff, but I ain't got too many rich friends like that calling me up. Like, I ain't got too many friends calling me up telling me to employ this system here. And I'm going to change my life. So you got to have a lot of humility and get over yourself. Like Francis Edwards always said, get over yourself. What is it, Latanya?
Get over yourself and get rich.
Get over yourself and get rich. You can still be up here talking and thinking like you don't know who I am. Where people where I come from, we like this. Yeah, and that's why all y'all poor and broke. You don't need to be thinking like that. You need to be thinking like him, who's thinking like Art. Another lesson Coach would always teach when I was in his bake shop. He said, listen, you see, pretend it's an ocean out there, and it's the beach right here, and that ocean represents wealth. and it's one set of footprints leading from here to that well. Those footprints are Art Williams. All I did, James, was put my feet into his footprints, and I got to the same place. And all you gotta do is put your feet in my footprints, as I did with Art, and you get to the wealth as well. That made things easy for me. So I just think, man, you gotta really, really be humble, and you don't have to understand it all. Quit thinking, oh, because it's different. People like that don't talk like this. You know, it's like, who are you? You don't know everything about business. You ain't got it all figured out. $230-something a share, stock price. Company worth $5, $6, $7 billion, going on 50 years. We got people that's been, Virginia Carter passed away 13 years ago. 13 years ago, her family's making $55,000, $60,000 a month. Who are you that got a job to come in here and tell us that because we sound different to you, this must be a scam? Your job is scam.
Okay, what's a scam? Harvard? You read about that place? College degrees, student loans, that's a scam. And you know why? Because it doesn't work. People are stunned, they're shocked, they've got all these student loans and they're not making any money to be able to pay them back, they can't pay their bills, can't pay their mortgages. Yet we keep saying, you know, what's insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But it starts with having a money consciousness. Read Think and Grow Rich. Most people never get over their poverty consciousness, that's why they don't recruit. You'll never, one story, we were in La Jolla, and we won the trip to La Jolla. And the first night there, they got these tables, and you can sit down with about anybody and just snack and eat. And Glenn Williams' brother, his name is Art Williams, was at the table. He was working for a managed account company. And I was at the table, and I'm sitting there, and he was holding court. He was a wholesaler that's been invited here. He wasn't one of us that earned it. And I'm thinking, and after about 20 minutes, he kept telling me, managed account, managed account, managed account, managed account. And I broke, and I said, excuse me, yeah. If you listen to him, you'll never be wealthy. You'll make money, but you'll never be wealthy. Wealthy only comes from having RVPs who have RVPs. The guy next to him, who was his boss, I didn't know it, said, Bill's right. You can make some money at this, but you'll never get wealthy at it. See the point I'm trying to make? Mm-hmm. And what is wealth? You got to get the definition of wealth. Not cars and clothes and home. People think, how many cars can you have? All the scam people who bought into the scam, the real scam, right? I'm from the government, I'm here to help you. That's the scam. A scam. Of who you're voting for is a scam. Understand that. They're not interested in you, right? They're interested in your vote. And understand that wealth is not any of the things you think it is. Glitz and glamour and shiny objects. Wealth, by definition, is having assets off of which you receive an income so you don't have to work. And what is recruiting? What is RVPs? Those are my assets. He's an asset. He made $40,000 last month, which means I get about, because he's networked, I get about $15,000 that made off James last month. For doing nothing. He's an asset. You're an asset. You're an asset. You're an asset. Assets. People are assets. We think assets are real estate. We think assets are money in the bank and mutual funds. Assets are people. I already described it. Would you rather have an asset getting 100% return or 1,000% return? 1,000. Well, I could turn one person into 100, and they're going to make $4,000 a month. I just make $2,000 a month for turning $2,000 a month for turning that one person into 100. So understand you're here to be wealthy. another word for financial independence is what? I don't have to work, I have my assets working for me. He just made $7,000 last month, yesterday. Why? His assets are working. I made $15,000 last month just off of James. My asset was working. You have to desire that to the point of obsession. Again, a phone call is not a phone call, it's I'm adding to my assets. I'm getting another recruit. I'm getting a double digit. I'm turning a field training bonus. I'm turning that 1 into 3, the 3 into 9, 27, 81, 243, 729 of assets. And you don't know which asset's gonna pay off. Warren Buffett is the guru of wealth, right? Warren Buffett said 95% of my buys didn't work out, but 5% did. He made all his fortune off 5% of the companies he purchased, because you don't know what's going to happen when you purchase something. Same thing. All I know is I'm going to get 100 people and someone's going to go RVP. You can't stop it. Instead of I'm going to make them an RVP, or if I get them to get bigger or go home, they'll become an RVP. We got to look at people as assets, and we want to offer them the same system of creating assets that we have. It's an asset creation system for them to be wealthy. Because what is wealth? What is financial independence? Well, I can retire when? I have enough money coming in so I don't have to work. The question is, do you want that at age 65 or 70, or do you want it in the next 2 or 3 years? Why wait 40, 50, 60 years to be wealthy when you can do it the next 3 to 4? All of you, if you're still working 3 to 4 years from now, you screwed up. And one of my favorite, you know how I feel about Dennis Kimbrough and the wealth choice, right? It's a masterpiece. But what did Dennis Kimbrough say when he sat down with John Johnson, the publisher of Jet and Ebony? Why aren't you rich? And he didn't have an answer for him. See, rich people can't understand why you're not rich. Why aren't you rich already? How long you been in it? Well, I've been at it 3 years. Whew. You get like Art Williams. You go up to Art Williams. How long you been at this, right? Go ahead. You don't have the courage to do it. What did Art Williams say to you? Well, how long you been doing this? 3 years. You must have 4 or 5 RVPs by now. No. I got 3 recruits last month. It's all here.
Wow.
You're stuck. You're stuck. And somebody, if you don't plan your life, you can depend on somebody else's plan for your life. You're stuck in somebody else's plan for your life, and it's pathetic. It's sad that we can't get out of the rut that they put us in. We can't climb our way out. We don't have the courage and the commitment, tenacity to fight. You got to fight to be financially independent. Fight to be wealthy. Fight to double digit. Fight to become an RVP. Fight to create RVPs. It's going to take everything you got. I'm telling you, this is not for the faint of heart. That metamorphosis is brutal. You know why? Because all of us come into this thing as pansies. Our testosterone levels are sinking. This is a true story. You know, the average 25-year-old man has the testosterone level of a 50-year-old man. Did you know that? Because testosterone is something that comes and you create by exercising it. Instead of sitting back today playing video games. And most men today, they're a shell of themselves, because why? Between my wife and I, we're making enough money, we're doing good. If the government would just do something, if I just need a job, just need to pay my bills, right? And I'm using testosterone as a measurement of lack of ambition, lack of drive, lack of everything. You know what? We're not looking for those people. We just have to go through a lot of them to find the Kevins, a lot of them to find the Mikes, a lot of them to find the Jameses, right, and the Patricks, right? And you got to go through a bunch of them, and you can't change their testosterone. All you do is enough that have enough of the goodies that they want to do something. And if they don't, wonderful. And nothing I can do about you. Like Virginia used to say, see me now or see me now or see me later. I gotta go. Say yes or no, I gotta go. And wonderful, 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 wonderful versus what do I have to do to get James going? Nothing. Well, people, if I get them to the convention, if I get them to get bigger, yeah, you should do that. You should invite them home for dinner if you want to. If you think having people over to your house for dinner is gonna change their destiny of life, you're wrong. That's between God and them.
That's right.
So James, what time is it?
Yeah, we got 10 minutes.
James, kind of wind this down. What are you getting out of this whole thing?
Well, that right there, that point where you talked about the tenacity you gotta have to win.
Words that people don't have in their vocabulary.
Yeah, we went to dinner, me and you and Larry Wydell, this past summer when we went to the Diplomat. And you know Larry, it's the one thing Larry said I remember for sure.
Out of all the things.
Out of everything. Larry said, he just looked at me, you guys talk about making some money, big money, he's talking about his art gallery and all that stuff. And Larry looked at me and said, James, it's hard to make big money. And I was like, you know what, it's true. And that's the thing you gotta get over. Everybody wants to be rich. If I polled this room, everybody in here would say, I wanna be rich, I wanna be rich, I wanna be rich. But changing yourself and changing your habits, see, that's the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
Changing how you feel when somebody tell you no thank you. They don't bite you or nothing. They just like, they say something stupid like, oh no, that's one of them things, you know, it's like Andy calls that radon gas. When people start talking crazy, I run away from them. When they start talking radon, negative, I run away from radon gas. You look at them and start thinking something's wrong with you.
No.
I just look at them and think, you crazy. I'm like,
Yeah.
didn't I just tell you I made $40,000 this last month and you worried about the bills you can't pay and I got the answer for you and you don't want to listen to me? It's radon gas. I'm out of here. I'm gone. And I forget all about it. My guys always calling me up and saying, James, do you remember such and such? No, frankly, I don't. I don't remember you too long unless you remember my business. I don't think about you, dwell on you. Oh, do you remember? No, I don't remember at all. It's like, quit. I was like, Sam, quit trying to make me remember that person. They ain't do nothing. They'll do nothing. I forgot them the moment I walked away.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you got to go make the decisions of what your choices of what you want your life to be. The one thing about the wealth choice, we're reading that right now, Coach. The one thing about the wealth choice that I'm getting this time, and this is my 6th time reading it, is that everything is a choice.
Yeah.
Everything is a choice. If you're happy, you know, with what you got right now in your bank account, you made choices to get there. You deserve all the benefits of that. If you ain't happy with what's there, you made some choices. That ain't nobody else's fault but yours. You are wealthy with choices. The saying is, I wasn't born a winner, I wasn't born a loser, I was born a chooser.
That's right.
And every day you get to go make your choices, whatever kind of life you want to have. Not picking up the phone, that's a choice. Yeah. You know, picking up the phone, that's a choice that you went out there and made. Talking to that person, not talking to them, getting out there, having the best guy quit, getting the charge back and keeping on going. Those are all choices that you got to make. And the difference between Bill and anybody else that you see in this company is he experienced more chargebacks than anybody in this room. He didn't have more people quit than anybody in this room. Carol used to tell us this, Patrick, all the time, your mom. Me, Bill, and Carol and Elena would go to dinner, and Carol would say, man, we know how good this is, and we wish we could do it for you. We wish you could do it for you. We can't. If we could, we'd do it for you so we could get you through it. We can't do it. Like, basically, I would hear, we fought our battle, y'all got to go fight y'all's now. If I could do it for you, like, with all the sincerity in the world, you'd be looking like, I love you. And I want it for you, but we can't do it for you. He told me my first 1 or 2 times sitting here when I came from Indiana to Dallas in his office, and this is the way I took it. He told me, he said, James, I'm going to provide for you the environment, You know, place to come, see your people. He said, I can't do the work for you though. Nobody's coming to the rescue for you and your family unless you do it. So you got to choose where you're going to be. It ain't supposed to be easy because we got to change. I was making $25,000 a year, y'all, because I had a $25,000 a year mindset. I had $25,000 a year habits. I hung around. I deal with people that make $25,000 a year do. You are where you are because you hang around that peer group. And when the toughest part about change is when you start choosing a new peer group, you got to make choices that ain't necessarily natural and normal to you. That's what you think is going to be tough. But that's what's worth it. I intentionally put myself, and you know, Coach, everybody in my phone, I probably got $500,000 earners in my phone. I always hang around people doing better than me. Always. Like, man, soon as I figure you out and I'll get you a level, I'll be like, oh, it's time for a new set of friends. I'm stuck. I got to get some new friends. Let me go up here to this next level here. Because there's a reason why they are where they are. You just got to make better choices.
Well, again, too, the tough part of what he just said was you're always going to feel uncomfortable. You're always going to be around people. We know this in Patrick in tennis. You got to play people better than you if you want to get better, and you're going to get beat. But you're not going to get better by beating people 6-love all the time in tennis. You got to play people better in your game. And the thing that James was saying is, I love what he said. No winners, losers. There's only choosers. And I love the term. But every choice has a consequence. It's like a mutual fund. I keep going back to this all the time. You sit down with somebody, Mike, and he's got $1 million, and where do you have it? I have a CD in a bank going 1.5% interest. I would never buy a mutual fund. Those are ridiculous.
Yes.
But you go, oh boy, I might want to quit. He doesn't like mutual funds. You go, okay, good luck. I know how that consequence is going to turn out. Folks, I know 100% of one consequence is going to turn out 100% of the time. Folks, name someone you know that's living happily ever after in a job. Just one. Even pastors don't want to be pastors. The point I'm making is that you got to have a dream, and it starts with net worth. And I'm telling you, I came here, I had a dream of $1 million net worth in 10 years. And every choice I made was bent upon, is what I'm doing right now going to get me to a $1 million net worth? I'm making decisions right now, and I've got huge goals, huge. And I write them, and I want them terribly bad. I love what someone said the other day. You just can't want it. You got to need it. You can't even need it. You got to have it. See, James and I are in a have to have it stage. You're in the I want it, and then you get to I need it, and when you finally get to the I have to have it stage, it's kind of like my wife Carol and I. When I met her, I wanted to be with her. Then I needed to be with her. Then I had to have her. And just like this business.
And there's Patrick, he's the result.
Animal magnetism. And the point is, how much money do you want down the road? We can't end this without talking about how much money do you want down the road? What do you want your net worth to be in 10 years? And income is not a goal. It should never be a goal. Income should always be a plan. Like if you want $1 million in 10 years, you got to start saving $4,000 a month at 12%. Now, we know you can't put away $4,000 a month, but think, well, if I'm making $12,000 a month, I can put away $4,000 a month, see? So I need to make $12,000 a month as my plan to have a net worth of $1 million. Now, why do you want $1 million in 10 years? Well, at 10%, I'm making $100,000 a year, so I don't have to work. See? All about the future. And I am where I am today financially because I made decisions about where I wanted to be 10 years down the road. And I didn't make unwise decisions on where to put my money. Because, wow, you know, I can buy that brand new car, or I can buy a used car, and I can save, you know, $12,000. And instead of making my car payments $1,000 a month, I can only make $500 a month. I take the extra $500, put in a mutual fund. See the difference there? So you always make the right choices. Do I want a double digit? Well, I need a double digit. Why? Because when I double digit, those are 10 life apps a month that I'm involved with. 10 life apps a month will make you $6,000 this month, and I can put away $1,000 a month. That'll get me to my mutual fund. See the point? You don't double digit to impress us. You do it because that's the way you create clients to make money. So Andy Onstead, he recruited 700 people, and he'll do about $200,000 in premium this month, and he'll make about $120,000. So would you recruit 700 people if you knew you'd make $120,000 this month? Yes. But that started, the multiples to get the 700 started years ago. It's just multiplying and compounding. And you got to decide, do you want compounding in your life? It's only do you want to compound in your life? Do you want the multiples in your life? Do you want 100% off one and 1% off 100 in your life? Do you want to use the power of 3, 9, 27, 81 in your life? Can you live without it? Well, I don't need it. I'm having a pretty good job right now. Just wait. I have truly never met anyone that loves their job. They do it for a while, but it gets old. I don't care who it is. You go, the worst place on earth to work is 1 Primerica Parkway, Duluth, Georgia. There's 1,500 unhappy people in that place that don't want to go to work Monday. That's Primerica, yeah, but it's a job. You see? Because they can't control their future. They're not a 35,000-foot life. Now if you had a job, have to have a job, that's probably a good job, a better job than anything else out there. But they're looking, and they don't want anybody's thumb on them. They have to go back to work now, get into the office. They don't want to do that. Someone's always controlling you. That's why Bill, are you anti-government? I'm anti-anyone controlling me. That's why I don't want those people in Washington choosing my life for me. I don't want to hand it over to them. Silly people out there handing their life over to somebody thinking they're going to make my life better. They don't care about your life. And they shouldn't. You got to start taking personal responsibility for how your life is turning out. And it's so interesting to me. Our God loves us so much, He gave His only begotten Son, right? You know how many people are going to heaven? Very few. Very few. Because He can't run. It's called choice. They don't want to go to heaven. People say, well, how could a God send someone to hell? He doesn't send them to hell. They choose to go to hell because they'd rather be in hell than go to heaven. They dislike God that much. Hard to believe. They don't want to be with God. So they make choices. Whatever hell is, right? The point I know is this. The other side of 10 is your step towards heaven. And financially, don't you want, and folks, folks, I'm telling you right now, it doesn't take 20, 30 years. In the next 3 years, you can be set for life, making $30,000 to $40,000 a month for the rest of your life. And what does it take? You, this month, get involved with 10 recruits. Yourself this month. Go to your manager and say, you got to get me 10 recruits. Got the point? If you have somebody here, right? If you have somebody here, you got somebody here? People here? Who's somebody? You got any people here? No, you don't have anybody here?
Yes, we do.
And they missed all this? Your people? Why would you even bother calling them? Get rid of them. Don't call them back. See what I mean? You care more about their lives than they care about their life. The point I'm making is, well, who's your upline?
Sam, they were saying.
Sam. You understand, Sam, we got a double digit this month. There's 3, that'll be 30 recruits right there from these 3 people. 4 people, 5, got the point? You had to hit 50 recruits this month. Go to your manager and say, get me 10. Work his butt off, right? Let him call him sick a lot. James, thank you very much for orchestrating all this. And Don, thank you very much. And Tony, in Zoom land. Again, Tony, how precious and vital she is to everything we're trying to do here.
Thank you, Coach.
And,
She's a-